First, I think your listeners have to understand how staggering the numbers are. We're talking about a deficit in the trillion-dollar range.
We as a nation are headed for an economic disaster.
That's the goal of this man, David Walker, the Comptroller General of the United States. That's the government's accountant-in-chief.
Daunting fiscal reality.
For the last few years, he's been going around the country telling anyone who will listen that we're headed for an economic train wreck of catastrophic proportions.
You know, what's driving commodities is inflation. It's governments around the world, particularly the Federal Reserve, creating too much money, debasing the value of the dollar.
The Federal Reserve Bank is a central bank. And a central bank, this is not taught in any economics class in the United States or in the world. A central bank is a bank of issue, which has the right to print all the money it wants. A central bank is a group of bankers which have total control of a nation's economy. And they print their own money, print as much as they want to, and it eventually becomes worthless. I defined in my work that a central bank's principal role is for war finance, because war finance is the most profitable enterprise you can get into. And what the Federal Reserve conspiracy of 1913 did, it made lawful a paper currency which the Constitution did not authorize. But they passed it through Congress, so it became public law of Congress, and that made it official that the Federal Reserve dollar became the monetary unit of the United States as paper currency, which totally defied the Constitution, which provided that only gold and silver could be the monetary unit of the United States. That means that any merchant who accepts a Federal Reserve dollar says, I believe that this is a real dollar. That's all there is to it. It's still a piece of green paper, which is worth what any green paper is. You can figure yourself. You can take a sheet of green paper and you can clip out $800, $100 bills. Well, control through debt means control through unpayable debt. It's debt that can never be paid. The interest will never catch up with the debt itself.
Is the Fed policy a failure?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they brought us the bubble, and they give us the recession and the correction. So, yeah, but you know, they've gotten away with this for a good while. It's positively baffling that we as a country who brag about the free enterprise system have accepted the fact that one individual basically can control the economy through that one issue, because when you control the money, you control every single transaction, because money is one half of every transaction, so you're interfering with everything.
Allah Azza wa Jalla says they're spending their money to fight my religion. They will spend it, Allah says they will spend it, and then they will be defeated. So let them spend their money, because that's how they will be defeated. Allah Azza wa Jalla says they need to spend it first, and after that they will be defeated. So we should be happy that they're spending their money to fight Islam, because that means that victory is soon, it's on its way. They will spend it, and that money that was spent will be hasra. They will regret it. and then they will be defeated. Now they're already talking about how this war in Iraq and Afghanistan is going to cost them more than the Vietnam War and the Korean War. And the way things are going now, they're going to bleed to death. The economy will bleed to death. So it's exactly following the ayah. They're going to spend the money and they're going to regret it because they invited this trouble. This war in Iraq and Afghanistan was not forced on them. They chose this battle. So they will regret putting themselves into this trouble, spending all of their money.
On Yom Al-Qiyamah in the hadith, the user, the banker, right? The banker, Lloyd's Bank, all these characters, they're going to be put in front of Allah. Bank of America, Citicorp, Chase Manhattan, World Bank, they'll all be given their swords by the angels. And then the angel will say, here's your Lord, now go to war. And how long are they going to last? They're going to slit their own throats. Ya laytani kuntu turaba. Oh, would that I was dust. The Prophet ﷺ saw them on the Isra and Mi'raj drinking blood in a river, because that's the manifestation of the reality of their acts. The sensible world of dunya becomes the intelligible world of akhirah. The meanings become manifest, and this is the nature, this is what we know. We know the reality, they don't know it.
أيها الأمريكان سيعاقبكم الله سبحانه وتعالى لأنكم اعتديتم على فلسطين وعلى العراق وعلى أفغانستان وعلى الصومال وحاربتم كل من رفع لواء الإسلام. آن أن يعلن الله الحرب عليكم يا آكلي الربا. كيف لا؟ والله سبحانه وتعالى لم يعلن الحرب في القرآن إلا في موطن واحد، إنه موطن الربا، فأذنوا بحرب من الله ورسوله.
Will collapse. Whereupon there'll be a lot of jawboning by the president, and that won't work. Then you'll see a worldwide depression that'll make the 1930s look like a kindergarten. In 2 months, you'll have bread lines in Detroit, riots in Pittsburgh. In 6 months, you'll see grouse right over Rodeo Drive.
I think it's almost unimaginable. I think it could be so devastating. It could bring, a strong worldwide run on the dollar, and that would be devastating because we are we do have the reserve currency of the world. So I think we're in uncharted territories. These recessions off and on for the past 30, 40 years, they're going to be minimal compared to the conditions that have been created by the world fiat system, principally run by our Federal Reserve. So it's not a domestic affair. It's not a U.S. affair. This is a worldwide affair.
The central bank mechanism has enabled the Jews to control all the banks of the world because central banking is just that, centralized banking. That's all central bank means, that it's centralized banking. And if it's centralized, the Jews can come in from anywhere in the world and gain control of it.
This is the Dajjal system, of which the pyramid is coming near to their completion. Really, they really feel that it's very close. They're talking about world government, world federation.